long term.
Yeah, definitely.
So continuing on with like the access thing and that, you obviously said you went to work with BT, and we've spoken before about going to work and that. In terms of things, because there's schemes out there like Access to Work and that are great for helping people get back to work, and that's something you've done as well a lot. Let's sort of delve into that topic a bit and talk about sort of getting into work from somebody who's disabled point of view.
Yeah, so I'm a big advocate for employment generally. Basically, I've been an HR manager and I've done lots of work over the years around the whole equality agenda and obviously disability agenda, with a personal interest myself. For me, working for BT was a fantastic employer, and my disability was never an issue. After the fact that all the access requirements in the building were sorted, it was never a point of discussion. It was just I was another colleague alongside everybody else, just hopefully delivering my objectives. But I'm a big advocate for the benefits of employment, particularly for people with disabilities. There's obviously the financial gain, but there's so much more that you can get out of work than just that. It's the social interaction. It's that old adage of the purpose to get out of bed in the morning. The sense of self-worth, belonging, etc., etc. I can go on. I do with Backup. Backup runs the Back to Work course, and with my good friend and friend of Backup's Helen Cook, who devised the course over 10 years ago now. Has been running them for that time, promoting employment for people with spinal cord injuries, but also helping them with their confidence to be able to either get back to work if they haven't worked since their injury, or helping them to realise their skills and potential to then move on in work if they're got a little bit stuck. So a lot of that is around building their understanding of what their skills are and what they can offer employers, and helping them with their confidence to go out there to apply, be better skilled at interviewing, have a stronger CV, etc. It's very possible, and as you said, Access to Work is a great enabler that lots of people don't know about. But it is a government fund here in the UK that you can apply to. It firstly can give you a workplace assessment, so they can help you determine what reasonable adjustments you might need to help you at work, but also help with funding towards what those adaptations are. And majority of adaptations are actually not that expensive. It's just looking at ways that people can be accommodated easier, so that they can it's an old phrase, but reach their full potential and commit and work alongside their able-bodied counterparts in the same way. So they can provide the funding alongside what an employer might need to put in. There's different ratios of split of the funds depending on the size of your organisation, but if organisations themselves don't know much about the fund, then it's quite useful to be able to make them aware of it, because there's much that they can do.
So with the whole Access to Work stuff and what you do with Backup, that's obviously great things that are going on, but in terms of what the government could be doing more for disabled people getting back into work, because I think that there's almost like a benefits trap with some people, but obviously there isn't necessarily that trap depending on what knowledge you know and what you can access. What do you sort of think about that sort of situation?
I think there are a number of things there. There's things that government could do, local government could do around some of the social healthcare infrastructure. So one of the sort of enabling things might be having a much more flexible approach, so that people are not waiting for care to come in at certain times. not being able to get out of bed until mid-morning when the carers are programmed to come. You know, to allow people to be able to have a normal working life, and you know, it may not be a 9 to 5, but they could, you know, do much better hours if the kind of infrastructure was there around care packages to help people to be enabled in that way. I think also, you know, I think the government have got programmes around disability confidence and working with employers to make them much more disability aware and understand what reasonable adjustments may be needed, and how to go about attracting and retaining their disabled colleagues. That, you know, there's always more you can do around that. And I've been doing some work with Helen Cook, who runs My Plus Consulting, who works with a lot of employers and students around that whole space. There's also perhaps things, you know, obviously the job centres have a programme around disability, around the benefits and getting people back to work. You know, the hearsay from me, but you know, a lot of what I hear there is a bit of a postcode lottery, and it depends on the individual you might get as to their understanding of disability, and you know, almost the individual support that an individual might need to help them work through, you know, what their, you know, skills are and what opportunities there may be in the local area to get back into work. So, you know, there's perhaps more investment and disability awareness that can be done at that sort of level.
And on like the sort of individuals level, is there more that sort of a disabled person could probably do? Because obviously when you're in a situation, it's a massive change on your life, and not a lot of people necessarily want to get back. They might want to sort of almost give up on their life, and what would you sort of, obviously you reach out to these people and you talk to them, what sort of advice do you tend to give people that maybe they want to get back to work but they're not sure, or maybe they're sort of really sort of uneasy about that sort of situation? Is there anything that you would sort of
I suppose you know, as I was saying before, I would always promote work and the benefits of work. So if it's a question of giving up on that, whether it's a dream or a necessity, you know, I would always, you know, advocate that it's possible. And there's, you know, you don't have to give up on that ambition to be at work for whatever reason you want to do it, but also kind of realising, you know, the benefits of doing it as well, and that it is a good thing to do. And obviously I know, you know, a lot about spinal injuries, but you know, you don't have to, it is a realised dream, or you know, reality that you can work. You know, there's no reason why you can't. No matter what your skills are, no matter what you did before. You know, I've had people come on the backup course, and you know, you would think on paper, you know, how can we help this person? They may have been an electrician before, they may not have had any interview experience, they've just fallen into job by job, they may have fallen out of school. I'm thinking of a particular example when I'm talking about this. And you know, how do you work with them to kind of, you know, pull together a CV to get them to think about their skills? But everybody's got abilities. Everybody has done lots of things in their life that will show skill and expertise and will be valued by employers. And it's just realising what those skills are, thinking through, you know, about yourself and what you have to offer, and being able to put that forward for potential employers.
Yeah, that's really great. Especially if someone is in that situation, you know, hearing that sort of stuff, that they have got worth still, because that can be something that they are thinking, like, oh, if you say they were an electrician, how am I ever going to get back to electrician? It's like, well, you might not be going around in your van necessarily and doing exactly the same thing, but there are ways around it in your
all
knowledge,
the skills that you would have developed around customer service, you know, being organised, and and there's a certain amount of skills, I think, as disabled people that we develop because of our disabilities that can be utilised under thought about, if you like. You know, so, you know, if we're going out of an evening, we do have to plan ahead. You know, how are we going to get there? What transport? Is it accessible? Is there parking? Is there access to the building? Is there a disabled toilet?
That sounds
etc.
like a
etc.
PA job to me. Like if you're a PA to like a businessman or
Yeah,
you know something, that's
yeah.
exactly you're doing it for yourself
It's
every day.
second nature. It becomes
Yeah.
second nature. So you know that's skills that any employer is going to value. So
Yeah.
you know there's lots of opportunities out there. It's just going for it often and having the confidence to do so. And there are programs out there to help with that.
Yeah, that's really great. And what sort of, say someone was listening to us now and they were interested, what sort of things should they do in terms of contact, like backup, for example?
Well, backup obviously, you know, in the UK, if you've got a spinal injury, then backup of, you know, developing their vocational support program at the moment. So by all means contact them and we're here to help. But for others that perhaps, you know, we wouldn't be able to serve, then, you know, there's lots of, you know, programs out there in local areas. Online there's a huge amount of information,
Yeah.
tools, online assessments to help you to, you know, understand your skills, etc. Lots of model CVs and ways of developing that. So yeah, just do your research and go for it.
Yeah. I would say to people, the information's out there, but it's not going to come to you. You've got to
Yeah.
sort
You've got
of
to
be
go
willing to
search
go
it.
in,
Yeah.
go find it for yourself.
And that first step is often the hardest.
Yeah,
Is,
no, totally, yeah.
you know, it's realising that there's something you want to do, and if you break it down with all these things, it becomes such a big thing. I can't possibly go there, and you know, it in itself becomes this mountain that's you know, passable. So you just break it down into small steps. So
Yeah.
first thing, turn on your computer.
Yeah.
If you don't even search anything that day, then the next day perhaps you would. You
Yeah.
know, put it into Google employment